This call is now being recorded.
Why excited?
Because I'm sure that I will get some insights as to why things are the way they are. I've been getting at why things are the way they are from an emotional perspective, from socio-cultural perspective, from the family beliefs and patterns perspective. And I'm very curious to get the stars perspective.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's start with a very simple question. Where does most of your money come from currently?
Most of my money comes from me performing and teaching. I have private students, I teach piano, and I also play in very different settings, formations, with different people in different places. So money is fee based. There is no there is a semi steady flow in terms of students, but in terms of engagements, it's very unpredictable, and it has been like this all my life. So I have basically only been employed with on a salary for 2 years out of my 52-year-old life.
Okay. No salary.
No,
Because you're kind of entrepreneurial, actually, right?
I am entrepreneurial, and I also like the sense of um freedom and unpredictability, because I interpret unpredictability as more is coming, as there is no limit up, and it
Okay.
mostly doesn't come from a place of fear. And I say mostly because, of course, I have some moments, but
Mm-hmm.
they prove to be unfounded.
Okay. So just notice, yeah, let's start with your sun. Actually, I just want to point out one thing about that, and then a few things, in fact. Okay. So your sun in Aries on the midheaven, right? Because the 10th house has to do with your work and what happens in your career. First of all, that you're performing. Yeah, you're in front of people, you're on stage. So the sun that's there. And also you're a solo performer, as far as I know sometimes. And specifically that you love the unpredictability and the constant change. So that's the Aries. Right, and your sun is in Aries right on the midheaven, right? So how you your attitude towards it. Like you love to have it that way. Okay.
I
Does
do.
that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And the other part, okay, it's about your Venus-Saturn trine. So, and what I'm noticing with all these interviews that I'm doing is that the conversation really leans towards Venus. And so Venus is the people, like all of your students, because you have Venus in Aquarius. And Aquarius is when you're involved in community engagement. So you're working with lots of people, either like on a team or you're part of the community network. So you know lots of people. Right. So being in contact, and that's where you get your money from, is actually by knowing lots of different people. And what you do for them, right, is Saturn. You teach, right? You structure them. Right, you give them the boundaries, you tell them how they're supposed to do it, how they're supposed to do what? Music, Venus. And specifically that it's piano, and not just, but it's air, right? The air signs, because it's music, it's sound. Does that all make sense so far?
So far, yes. And I forgot to say one thing, that I also have infrequent but a source of income, which is by referring people who purchase musical instruments from somebody who makes them, and I get commission for that.
Okay, that's the eighth house. Because the eighth house is when you're kind of in between, you're the medium, right? So you're the medium between the person who's selling the instruments. Or can you explain again?
Yes, exactly. I find the people whom I think might be interested in the instruments of this person who makes the instruments, and I use my skills, my social skills, my musical skills, to steer them in the direction of seeing, are they interested in buying an instrument or not? Do they like an instrument or not? And then they either do or they don't. And I have made commissions out of this kind of work, and I do this kind of work. I actively pursue it.
So you advertise your instruments to your students also, basically.
No, because these are string instruments. Those are mostly violas, violins, and cello. And I play with different people, but those are not my students. So whenever I sense that some instrument can fit somebody, or whenever I know that somebody is looking to purchase their own instrument, I come in and I connect them with an instrument or connect them with the violin maker, and depending on whether they go through with the purchase, I get remunerated.
Okay. Let me just get settled into my new place. Okay. So the 8th house. That is when the 8th house is where other people's resources live. And so your Venus being there, tapping into what other people have that you don't, but you can borrow, or you can be in between.
That brings me to think that I have and have had people in my life that bring stuff to me and it actualizes as money. What do I mean? I have a pair of students that one of them was cleaning her closet and gifted me expensive bags. Now, I'm very particular in my taste, and I know to appreciate the style and price, but I don't usually use those bags myself. But I saw the value, and I sold those bags and actually used the funds to do something else that I enjoy. And this is not just a one-time occurrence in my life. I am getting gifted a lot of things, expensive things. And I know that some people serve as a channel for that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Totally. Well, when you say it's expensive things, like things of high value, and also
That's what I
happens
meant to say. High value. Yep.
Yeah, and that it happens to you frequently.
Let's say that it's unexpected, but I have seen it often enough in my life to notice and to observe a kind of a pattern.
Can you give an example, like of one thing somebody that's a benefactor to you?
Well, for instance, these students, it's a pair, and first they organize house concerts for me in their house, where I get paid for doing the house concerts, where they present me to their friends. Second, through those house concerts, I have gotten other students that have come to me. So I have incurred customers. And the lady gave me what is it called? A Louis Vuitton bag and a Perla bag, and those are the Louis Vuitton bag I sold for 400 euro, for instance. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so um, that's one example.
Mm-hmm. Okay, can I just point out a couple of things?
Yep.
I'm going to remove Saturn for now. And this is a pretty good deal you're getting from these students. They're
Yes.
giving you a lot of what they have,
Yes.
and you're just benefiting from. Yeah, so that's all the 8th house, right? You're in the 8th house. You're in their assets. And specifically the assets that they have for you is people. Like they have more of an audience,
Mhm.
which is the Aquarius part of that.
Mhm.
Because Aquarius again is like all the friends that they introduce you to, right? Doing house concerts and there's lots of people there.
Mhm.
So inevitably it's about the network, right? So you have lots of connections, Venus and Aquarius, through other people, the 8th house. Also, she gives you really nice bags and they're expensive, right? That's the effect of Jupiter. Because Venus by herself, maybe she gives you like something, but Jupiter makes it Louis Vuitton. And then when you said Perla, even, Jupiter is in Pisces, right? So the pearl. Does that all
Okay,
make sense?
but
And then you can-
yeah, Perla is the brand of bags that are very expensive.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and yes, and she connects me not only with potential students, but also with other people who have served my life, like lawyers, notaries, like people of
Mm-hmm.
value, people of value, not just things of value.
People of okay. I'm also thinking now I see the Saturn exact connection, right? Because Venus is at 29, Saturn's at 29, so the connection between them is very strong in your chart. And so then when you tell me about like lawyers and notaries, right? These are people of order, the law, that's Saturn. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So your channel of income is your students and your work, but also things from other people, kind of like things you get from your relationship to other people.
Yes.
Can you give another example, or maybe just a couple examples?
Well, for instance, I have someone who likes me very much and gives me great gifts for my birthday. An iPhone one year, an iPad another year, um, a stereo system another year. Um, just mm, I get I get supported in material ways for which I wouldn't necessarily spend myself, because that's not where my value lies
Uh-huh.
spontaneously.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
But I do get the benefit of these people being there for that, or offering to pay for my plane ticket after I have announced that I'd like to go visit. Um,
I like the word announced.
well,
Okay.
mm, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so one thing that's interesting, right? The 8th house is also something that's of value to other people. It's not you, because the 2nd house would be what's valuable to you directly.
Mm,
So I like that. And there's a few things I want to point out, and then I have another question about that situation.
okay.
So notice the gifts that you listed, at least these ones just now. iPhone, iPad, stereo system, right? So it's all technology. So it's all air. Yeah, it's not like they
Okay.
gifted you a okay. And the flights, right? Flying air. Right? So those are the kinds of gifts you're getting from this person. They're air related. Okay. Now,
Yes.
who is this person?
Oh, those. It's not just one person
Okay.
that I listed. you
Well, you
know?
said okay. So you said someone who likes you very much. It's okay
Yeah.
if you don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, it's somebody who likes me. It's other the people with the airplane, with the airfare, are other very close people to me. I mean, I also have somebody who designs flyers for me, puts my recordings on YouTube, organizes my online presence, drafts business cards for me. That's another person that gifts me with mm, with with his services mainly. He's also always loaning me money if I need some money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he likes to just take care of me. He always pays when we go out. He cooks for me um, at least once a week. And it's all out of his own volition. And it's not a lover. It's a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also have someone in my life that um, brings me to vacations and unsolicited and doesn't want anything in exchange. He's also very active in co-parenting my kids without him being his father, their father. Um, and I also am a certified life coach, so I also have life coaching clients overseas. Also, I have piano students online overseas. That piano student online overseas has also paid for my airfare overseas to go visit. Now that you have started me rolling, I am all of a sudden remembering all the amazing gifts that people just channel my way. Um, I also have had a client. I also give sound baths. People lie under the piano and I improvise uh, based on their frequency. And one gentleman had to cancel twice, very on the same day, and he paid me for those sound baths out of his own volition. So I throughout my life, I have people paying for services that they have booked and I have not given because of certain reasons. So I usually have the experience of getting more value, or what I perceive more value, um, than sometimes the services I have rendered. Not that they're not valuable, but when I when I you know, a lesson for a pay, I don't give a lesson but I still get paid. You know what I mean?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so people are exceptionally generous with you
People are
consistently throughout
exceptionally
your life.
generous with me throughout my
Okay.
life.
Mm-hmm.
um I mean, I have somebody in my life that came to help me watch my kids and cooked for them every night and gave me their listening and supported me, not necessarily in a material way but in ways that are very important and valuable to me. So I get a big support system, I realize now, talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it's lots of people. That's the other thing I notice. It's really the network of people that you know.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. And all of them are so open to share with you so much, so many things.
Yes, I get my work only through word of mouth.
Hmm.
I don't
Oh,
I don't advertise my work, but I have a colleague whom I don't even see once a year, but we have this love and appreciation for each other. And she would give my name to somebody that doesn't know me, and I get a concert booked the following week for €1,000. That happened in December. Um, so
lots of synchronicity also I hear with all these people.
yes, lots of synchronicity. I I'm not gonna make interpretations. I just take it.
Hmm. Okay. So, yeah, and again, I just want to point out to you the nature of the things that you're rendering. For example, the sound baths, right? Sound baths came up a few times, right? Because your Venus is in an air sign. So what's a value that constantly circulates in your life? The sound baths. And then there was also the friend that helps you with putting the recordings online. Somebody helps you organize your social media online, right? Somebody who does your business cards. So it's all the air. Like every time you're talking, I'm hearing all the air, right?
Mhm.
It's the piano, so it's the sound, so it's the concerts. Okay. Um, what do you spend on? What do you like to spend? Where does your money go?
My money goes mostly on experiences, on things that you cannot touch, on non-material, you might say. Um, I have probably mostly spent money on restaurants, fine restaurants, fine dining, travel, going places, and recently education and expansion, inner growth. Um, and I don't own many objects, but I own my roller and my piano. Those are my two most precious possessions, or my two possessions that I could probably sell. And I own two um, stereo systems, but they're not that expensive. That's outside of the system that this friend of mine gave me. Um, that's pretty much it.
Hmm.
Um, yes.
Okay, that makes me think about how again you make use of other people's things so you don't have too many of your own. So you're very light in terms of assets.
Yes, which is a good thing and a bad thing, right?
Okay.
Because,
Um,
yeah.
the other thing, like you said, for example, you spend the most on experiences, things that are intangible, right? Experiences are very expansive. It's like just seeing more of the world, right? Like having fun, kind of. So there's Jupiter, right? So that's something consistent for you, that's what you're spending on again and again. You're traveling a lot overseas, right? So there's the Pisces, right? You're
Not
going
only
to lots
overseas,
of places.
but I'd like to point out that I usually travel in order to go see someone somewhere. That's been a little bit of my pattern. So it's people again,
Uh-huh.
you
Okay.
know? Um, the
Uh-huh.
times that
Uh-huh.
I travel just for fun are usually gifts.
The other thing, by the way, that when you do travel, you also travel in company, right? And you travel to go to a group of people.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And also I know that with your family you guys do like group trips on water, right? You go on the
Yes, we boat 1 week every summer.
right,
Yes,
with your friends.
yes,
Okay, so do you see that, right? Boating 1 week, Pisces, with your friends, Aquarius, all together having a good time, Venus, Jupiter. And it's pretty expensive, right? And it probably gets gifted to you, parts of it as well.
absolutely, it
Does
does.
that, okay, so does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Mhm.
Okay, uh-huh. Restaurants, fine dining, Jupiter. And education, Jupiter. And you said just recently you've been doing education on, so what is that about?
Recently I have started re-examining my worldly connection with money, finances, wealth, and I have realized that because I've always had such a great support system, I have not really built my own system. And it's time that I get secure and certain about my own ability to have something, to have some assets, to build something, and it being very tangible. So I signed up for a few courses through a company called Success Resources. And I am learning how to manage money, how to build passive income, how to build a business, sell a business, how to not work and have enough resources, how to lead and train other people. um it's very much self-development, and it's very tangible of of channeling the self-development into wealth, finances, etc. So I have never spent the money that I recently spent on something that I trust will propel me to the next level of myself in that realm, in the realm of money, finance, wealth, passive income, business.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the idea is you're investing in these courses a lot, you're spending a lot of money, and you think that's going to lead to a lot of money generated for you in the future. So you're learning the skills to become
Yes,
independent.
yes, and also I am a leader that hasn't yet lived my leadership skills to my fullest potential. And I am very turned on by the idea of I myself leading seminars, I myself speaking publicly. And one of the courses is designed to train me particularly in that.
Hmm. Okay. So there's a few things going on. Okay. Okay. Now we have your chart on the inside, and we have the transiting chart on the outside. So the transits is just where the planets are right now, which indicates where you're at in life right now, right? Depending on where they're each stationed. So Saturn is now at 7 degrees of Aries and approaching your sun at 16 degrees of Aries and your midheaven at 13 degrees of Aries, right? So if you just notice, like, right, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, right? So you can see these next months, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So you can see the next 22 months. Did you see what's happening?
Yeah, back and forth he's going, no?
He's basically conjunct your sun for the next 22 months. And then, next, let's say 23, 24 months, something like that. Okay, so for the next 2 years, basically, the Saturn is conjunct your sun. That makes you got that, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And Saturn began conjoining your sun. That's also very important, about 2 months ago. Okay.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Okay, very good. So here you can see you're talking about, for example, you have a leadership potential that hasn't yet been lived out to its full, right? So there's your sun that is on the midheaven in Aries, being the leader, being in front of everyone. Yeah, being the one to make the courses. Yeah. And now Saturn is transiting your sun, and you're developing the skills necessary to be a leader and cultivating that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, very good. Right. So this is like this energy now of building something.
Yes.
Okay. Self-development, right?
Yes.
The sun. And for you, it's especially about your career expression and your legacy, like what you're going to leave what you're going to do in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then, by the way, when you see that, does it all connect very quickly?
Yes.
Okay. Now we've been talking about your Venus-Jupiter conjunction quite a bit, right? That was all the gifts from the people, all the money, and okay. Uranus, now at 29 Taurus, is making exact square to your Venus. And you can see over the next months, he's moving to square your Jupiter. And he's going to be squaring both of them essentially for the next year. Okay? Like the entire year, Uranus square Venus and Jupiter. Okay. So that's going to mean many, many, many things for you. But the first thing is that you're spending so much money, like more than ever before, right? Because that's the energy of Uranus.
Okay.
Something that is kind of like out of nowhere.
Yes. It was completely out of nowhere.
And you're just launching straight in.
Yes.
And what's important is, again, notice, this education that you're getting, Jupiter, is in the form of seminars. Okay, so there's Aquarius again. You're doing things as a group. You're doing things in a community, right? So it's not like a one-on-one coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're training with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you told me that this course is going to continue for the next year or the next months. Did I hear you?
No, definitely through the next summer. So a year and 5 months.
Okay. So that would be the entire period that Uranus is squaring both of them. Right. So that makes me think of that period where, do you have to travel for any of the courses, by the way?
For all of them. And for some of them pretty far.
Right. Okay. Because Uranus is entering Gemini. And Gemini is an air sign. And so, of course, because it's the energy of Uranus and the 11th house, that makes me think of you constantly moving in order to go to those courses.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so that kind of makes sense to you now, right? Like how that's happening and the timing of it?
Yes, it sounds very positive.
Right. Okay. What is your financial situation been like historically, or just your relationship to money, how you see money, how and the things you're willing to kind of spend on or give for?
So the family history coming from my mom, she had a famous quote saying, "We shave with an axe, but we drink our tea with lemon," which means we're fine and cultured and stylish, no matter what happens underneath, or no matter that there is no stable base. It doesn't matter the base. What matters is that there is a slice of lemon in your tea, which is a symbol of, wealth and culture. So this is what I grew up with as a belief. And my relationship with money has been very, I would say, impulsive. I have always made what I consider to be enough money and a lot of money, and have always spent it all. I have never
Mhm.
built anything. I until now have not felt comfortable in surplus. I have felt comfortable in where I'm a little bit in debt, just a little bit, not much, but a little bit. Because I'd rather use all the resources and more than having resources just lying around, and being unused. The whole premise behind it being that things should be put to use, they should have a purpose, function, and a reason for existing. So I'm breaking through that now. But since you asked me how it has been until now, this is how it has been. The moment I have had some money saved, it has happened probably 4 times in my life. I inherited some money and I spent it. I lost it, so to speak. I had put during the 2 years that I was employed by the university, I had put money in 401k. Then I took it out of it. I have had put some money in funds, S&P 500 funds. They were there for maybe 8 months, and then I took them out in order to do some other things with the money. And the only thing that I haven't touched yet, but I'm always playing with the idea of touching it, is some stock that I have bought. And I have done all these 4 things under the guidance and maybe a little bit of pressure of people who are close to me. I have not done them out of my own insight or inspiration. Somebody close to me, he said, "Hey, listen, you should put some money aside." And I have done it. But then I start using it. So this is the pattern.
Wait a minute. So you're so wait, so people are giving you good advice or bad I didn't understand that
Good
part.
advice. Very good advice. And under people's influence, I would save or put money aside or buy stock, etc. But pretty quickly after that, I would find a reason to use this money and to not have it sit around and to not have it accumulate.
Hmm.
So living very much in the present moment with little care or insight about the future, which is now starting to change, of course, because I'm realizing things. But until now, it has been this kind of pattern with me and money.
Okay. There's a few things coming up for me. First of all, it's about your moon that is in Libra on the cusp of your 4th house. Because the 4th house represents the people that are close to you, and so does the moon, right? And so Libra is about receiving advice or doing something in tandem with someone. Like they give you advice and you're like, yeah, I like that, right? So being in exchange with people. So it makes me think about how you get good advice from them, but the opposition to your sun in Aries, that your natural nature is to be impulsive and to burn through everything. And that makes me think also about this opposition that you're talking about. Like at first, you get really good advice from people, but pretty soon thereafter, you find a reason to do it your way and not to follow whatever they suggested, right? So there's the Libra. Oh, that's nice. I like what you're saying. And then there's the Aries. I want the money now.
And it's not only in money this way. I solicit advice from people in many areas, but at the end, I do what I decide to do.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I'm very sincere in asking for advice, and I'm very sincere in my intention to follow the advice, and I take it seriously and earnestly, and then I just go the way that I would go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that makes sense, right? When you see it this way.
Yes.
Okay. And you love to ask people what they think and how would they do it and what should you say and how should you write it.
Yeah, I do this also with AI. I consult
Aha,
AI.
that's right. Mm-hmm.
I consult AI.
Right. And it's always like, what should you do? Right. That's always the conversation.
And now it's starting to change because now I am building my own agency to the point where I'd like to feel so secure in myself that I know what I think before other people and AI, and that
Uh-huh.
I'm grounded in my opinion and in my intention. And then I don't ask what I should do, but I share my intention, and then there's a conversation rather than just the position of like, well, I don't know because I could be doing anything. Tell me what to do, which has been a lot of my disposition throughout my life, just because I'm so open-minded, you know.
Okay. That makes me think about so I have the transits up again and
Mm.
look again, Saturn is opposing your moon and conjoining your sun. Right? So learning how to be more independent, Aries, and not to solicit advice in that way.
Yes.
Okay, so of course, inevitably, that's changing your relationships to everyone around you
Yes.
for the better, but it's kind of new, right? It's forming.
It's exactly, it's new, it's forming, it's foreign at times. I have to do the counterintuitive, just knowing that the new behavior strengthens the muscle. And but that's the real belief in myself, or the real that's how most people live. Most people don't doubt. Most people don't go around asking anybody and everybody for what they think and what they would do and how they do it. uh, but I do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much life experience I have. I go and I'm like, I don't know anything, but I know a lot of things, and I have a great intuition, and I have a lot of life experience, and now I'm starting to just slowly building this base within me. So that's Saturn. Okay, I start liking
Exactly.
Saturn.
Yeah.
I start liking Saturn this time. Yeah, okay.
Okay. The other part. You had said that sometimes you have made plenty of money or that you like inherit money, right? So it's like money comes easily and smoothly. There's the Venus Jupiter eighth house that we had been talking about quite some. And now there's the connection to Saturn in your 12th house. And the 12th house is the place where people lose things. It's when you have nothing, it's the void, it's emptiness. Yeah. And this makes me think about how the thing you're dealing with all your life up until now is that no matter how much money you get, you end up with zero. Like
So
money,
you can see this. You can see this in the chart.
right? Well, I'm showing you exactly how I see it.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also because, especially because Saturn is in Gemini. Gemini is a mutable sign, and mutability is about like wastefulness in a way, like squandering, like buying this and that and da da da, but not having.
Mm-hmm.
And so this makes me think about how you're always just spending it all and you end up with nothing, and that's like a chronic condition, right? So then if you think about the fact of Saturn being in contact with your Venus exact, and it's like in your life, even though you have plenty of help from people and plenty of money that they give you, and you know, you're never really wanting for something too much, still there's some kind of ceiling.
Yes, until now it has been like this, but let me tell you, I'm not squandering. I'm not just spending money randomly. I spend the money, but it's not random.
Okay.
I just wanted to point that out. It's
Okay.
not that I spend it for spending sake.
What would you spend on, for example, that might take your savings away?
Well, for instance, these courses, I had to, I did not expect those courses to appear, and I had to take some of my actually non-existing savings and you know, the little that I had saved and spend it, or
Mhm.
or spontaneous trips to visit people, or mm,
Mhm.
yeah, or well, of course I spend on my kids, maybe not too much, but I always have a bunch of, I have a list that in case I have money, I'd like to do this and this and this, you know.
Mhm.
So there's always something that could be done with the money, or take this education. I would like to have a hypnotherapy certificate. So there's a course in the summer. So there's always something that has my attention, that I am geared toward. And yeah, I spend money also on possibilities, I realize, on
Ooh.
on future possibility, on a possibility of something turning up certain way. Like for instance, I spent um 3,000, maybe more, 3,000 euro or so, on an endeavor that didn't work out. Plus, that a friend of mine gifted me $5,000 to sign up for a course that actually at the end didn't work out.
Mhm.
So I didn't have to pay for the course, but he did for me. But then the endeavor went south, and
Mhm.
it did not fulfill my, you know, my future promise to myself. Um,
Mhm.
so things like this have happened, that I invest in something that doesn't work out. When I lived in Brazil, I invested in a project of a friend that at the end didn't turn out okay, and I lost the money.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
Okay, that makes me think again about Saturn being in your 12th house, that things don't turn out. Like things just don't happen, for example.
Mhm,
And that you know, you spend for courses. Like the multiple examples you gave was all about education.
mhm.
And so there's Gemini. Yeah, studying, learning from someone, talking, understanding. And also spontaneous trips, which is also Gemini, right?
Yes.
Spontaneous movement somewhere, air, that is just like,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I recently spent money on a course that I have the course and I'm watching it on my computer, but it's not probably the direction that I would go. It's still very valuable, but I see now a little bit of a pattern.
hmm,
Hmm.
interesting.
Yes.
Ah, I just saw it too. So that's happening from time to time that way.
Yes. And I'm starting to track it, and I'm starting to be more cautious about what I sign up for.
Does it come from recommendations also?
Actually, the things that I lose money on are happening for recommendations. That's true. That's
Okay.
true. Very consistently so. And the thing that I decide to do on my own, and I am firm of why I want to do it, that is more likely to pan out.
Mm-hmm.
So I follow other people's leads in something that I see the possibility of. I mean, I usually see so much potential and I act upon potential and I don't act upon reality and capacity. That's one thing that I just I'm also conscious and working on. But yes, now that you pointed out, those things have been recommended to me to do.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, fascinating, huh?
Yeah, totally. Okay, I have one more question. It's
Okay.
about what are some expenditures historically that you have had to make, for example, you couldn't avoid it? And you don't want to make those payments.
Mm-hmm. Um, well, maybe it's time for me to admit that I have had a big debt to a credit card company in the US that I have just abandoned.
Ah.
Um,
Ooh.
and yeah,
What?
uh, and I don't like to pay rent, but I have to. Also, sometimes I don't like to have to spend money on things that are not immediately in my inspiration. For instance, I have decided I have solved this problem, but spending money on kids' clothes always bothers me.
Uh-huh.
I cannot tell you precisely why, but I know it bothers me. And of course I do it, but also I'm very frugal with I'm very frugal with the tangible. I'm frugal when I grocery shop. I'm very frugal when I shop for clothes for myself. I don't have much and I do it in a very specific way. Um what else do I have to spend money on that I don't like to? Um yeah, usually when I have the bills, I had a little higher gas bill last year and I had to pay a little bit of money over. I didn't like that. Mm, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
things that are a must, things that are set in our society. I have an
Mm-hmm.
immediate aversion to it. For instance, I have to tune my piano and I have an amazing piano tuner. Like he
Mm-hmm.
makes my piano sound divine. And every time I have to hire him, I think three times. Like, oh, really? Can I not postpone? And every time his bill comes to me, I'm like, oh, I have to pay this now. You know, it's a funny thing. Thanks for asking this question. It's a very funny thing because it comes before I could even think like this. Like, oh, do I have to? Yeah. Um.
Can I ask about the debt that you have in the US? How big is the debt?
It was 10,000 US dollars.
Okay. So what do you mean you abandoned? It was on a credit card.
Yeah, exactly. I just didn't pay it, and I have not lived in the States for a long time, and my credit score probably got very, very bad. But it's been so many years in the past that it has now kind of balanced itself, because they only keep the past 7 years of your records.
Uh-huh. And you didn't
So
so what happened? So what do they do? Do they close it or do they take the loss when they can't find you? So they
yeah,
were trying to
exactly.
get you.
Yeah,
Were they trying to
exactly.
find you and you were hiding
Exactly.
or
Yeah. They. I mean, I wasn't hiding. I just didn't live there anymore.
Right, right. Okay. Okay. And did they try to pursue you, like send you letters and emails and stuff?
Yes, to my last known addresses.
Okay. Okay, see, that makes me think about the 12th house too.
Okay.
Because it's how can I say, it's a responsibility that you abandoned.
Yes.
And still they were trying to come after you, right? That's Gemini, sending you mails, sending you letters.
Not
If
mails, but letters. Mhm.
letters, okay. Maybe they're threatening with action. Right, and
I
that's the
wouldn't
eighth.
know because these letters stopped coming.
Okay. Yeah, that you forgot about it and you just kind of that's the 12th house for me. And the eighth, that you took a credit, again, it's the eighth house. You borrowed $10,000. And then of course knowing that you just didn't follow through with them. Very nice. Does that make sense to you when you say it that way?
Yes, yes, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. Yeah.
And that you're very frugal.
Yes.
There's something else that stood out to me, the tangible things you don't like to spend on. So you like to spend on experiences, and travels and lectures. Yeah, so all the air stuff, but the earth stuff, no. You have no planets and earth signs. That also makes me think about that.
Not a single one, no.
Not a single one.
This is why I always feel very attracted to earth sign
Uh-huh.
men.
Okay.
4 of my 5 or 6 significant relationships in my life have been with men in earth signs.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Balance, baby.
Okay, good. I feel like we could keep going forever, but let's stop here.
Okay.
What did you think about that?
I love it. It made me think, it put things in perspective. It made me like file things and archive things in different ways. And
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I really didn't give myself an account of how much I get gifted. Like, even this last thing that I forgot, Jesse had paid $5,000 just like this for something and didn't want it back, and it was lost, and he didn't even blink on. And then he also gifted me for my 50th birthday €1,000 robot, cleaning robot. I
Uh-huh.
mean,
Okay. Again, the technology, right? Air.
like, yeah. But it also made me think of, okay, so what else am I losing, or will I be able to build something without losing it? Like, what would it take, or am I doomed?
No, I don't think you're doomed. Right?
Okay.
Because your chart is constantly moving and
Okay.
changing. And so
Okay.
for me, one of the things that I noticed, by the way, because I did several of these interviews before you, And this is so consistent. It's interesting that people who have Saturn Venus aspects tend to experience chronic financial strain,
Mhm.
which can at some point change, like later in life.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
after they work a lot on that subject and are
Yes.
comforted by it. Right, but yeah, so again, we always have to stay with reality though. You know, the other thing I'm thinking about is how much space is in your apartment, right? Because you have very high ceilings. So there's a lot
Yes.
of air, and you
Yeah.
have also the swing that is hanging.
Yes.
Right? So in terms of like you have a lot of space around you, Venus in an air sign.
Yes. And I've always had like a lot of
Yeah, and that
that.
you value actually the space because of the sound quality. That's important for you, right?
Also,
Okay.
sound, light, and I don't feel the space. It's I love it empty. I
Okay.
love the apartment. I love this apartment. I love it exactly like it is.
Right. Whereas people with a lot of earth probably have a lot more stuff around.
Oh my God, Christoph get cluttered like I cannot tell you. Like, where did he get all these things? You know, we 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 moved him in there together, and all of a sudden, like through the years, like it's yeah. Uh, have you done one of those interviews with Joanna?
No, but I could.
Okay.
Okay, great. So, do you want to say something else? Otherwise, I'm going to stop recording. Then we can chat afterwards.
Oh yeah, you can stop recording.
Okay, good. So, very informational. And yeah, see you guys in the next
But
episode.
you haven't stopped recording.
No, I haven't. Okay, I'm going to stop now.